And we are live. So, after some technical difficulty, and sorry about the false start, folks. I guess I made myself live when I first brought it up, and I didn't mean to, so I had to send out the links again, which I did on Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus to say now we really are live. So, hello, folks. Mobile Geezer here, and Mike, simply your device. You say hello.
Hi there, Mike Dixon, Simply Your Device. How's everybody doing? Mike Dixon, Simply Device, not having a head cold. Feeling much better.
Okay, and I'm Mobile Geezer, and of course, you can find me here and on Google Plus and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and my website is mobilegeezer.wordpress.com, and I usually publish something once a week. So if you're new, every Friday night at 8 p.m., we do a broadcast. 1 week it's me, 1 week it's Mike from the Simply Your Device channel, and 1 week it's usually Will from Will D, and he is sick tonight. This is the first time Will's ever missed one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is, unless he was on vacation.
Okay,
we might have taken a week off, all of us, because he was on vacation or something else was going on with us too. So I think that's about the only time. Yeah.
So sorry that Will's not here. We know he's the star of the show. He's by far our best ranter, although Mike's getting better and better at it.
Well, Will he's losing his voice. He says his voice was on fire, but I know he's in the room and his thumbs are working quite well. So I see he's typing away. So that part's working okay.
So Will is in the chat, folks. If you want to curse him out, I mean, if you want to say hello,
he's in there. You know what? I think this is our opportunity to really, do stuff and say stuff that he can't reply. You can't rebuttal.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'll let you do that. Well, probably I should do it because he can drive to your house.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so let's get started with tonight's stories. And the one we're starting with tonight is a heavy duty one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if you're aware, well, you probably are because it's been in the news a lot, that the Huawei boss, what is her title? The
Super Chat. Super Chat wide open. Look at that.
Super Chat is wide open.
And look at what Will did.
Did he already?
Yeah, $4.99.
Oh, well,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but
why am I not seeing it? Right, I need to go into live chat again. And there it is. Thank you, Will. Even sick, the guy helps out. What a guy. Anyway, Huawei, which we all know has been in the news a lot, and the government has shut them down as far as any government services using any of their products or buying any of their phones. And of course, I think she's their chief financial officer, who's the daughter of the guy who started Huawei. She has been under arrest in Canada for a couple of months now, and I gather the U.S. has officially started proceedings to have her extradited to here so they can put her on trial. Well, this week I ran across another story that I was obviously very close to. I'll explain that in a minute. But this is a second part or a second story involving Huawei.
It's like you said earlier. It is. I couldn't. This is why he's taking the story on this one, because he knows more of it. But I'm reading. I'm like going, oh my God, oh my goodness.
This is a heavy duty story.
Well, yeah, it's like this is a movie. This is a plot line for a movie here. So.
And I said to Mike before the broadcast started, I'll be surprised if at some point somebody does not make a movie about all this Huawei stuff, because it's getting very heavy duty. So in this part of the story, there's a gentleman named Adam Kahn who invented a new type of glass, partly for phones, that's supposed to be a whole lot tougher and more scratch resistant than what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, they're calling it diamond glass.
Yeah, this is called diamond glass, but it's supposed to be 6 times stronger and 10 times more scratch resistant than Gorilla Glass. Obviously, This guy has a small company, and if this is true, obviously this guy's set to make a lot of money. So I'm not going to, this story is one of the longest stories I've seen all year, but basically he reached out to some phone companies, and there's a video within the article, and he reached out basically to the top 10 phone manufacturers in the world to see if they'd be interested in testing his glass. So, make a long story short, one of the companies that responded to him was the second largest phone manufacturer in the world, who happens to be Huawei. So he starts interacting with some people at Huawei, and in the article it says, like all inventors, Khan was paranoid about knockoffs. Even so, he was caught by surprise when Huawei, a potential customer, began to behave suspiciously after receiving a meticulously packed sample. So he sent Huawei a sample of his diamond glass for their testing. And of course, he was hoping to make a deal where they would actually use his glass for the phones. Now, one of the legal issues here is that because this is diamond glass, and I gather from what I saw in the video, anything with diamond can be used for some type of military purpose. So that brings in the government, and you have to sign very strict guidelines if you're going to test this, especially if you're a foreign company. And one of the requirements is that you do not let the sample leave the US. So he sent his sample to Huawei in San Francisco, and he was in touch with a specific, also scientist at Huawei. I'm trying to find the lady's name that he was in touch with, but he sent them, and all of a sudden they started acting suspiciously. I believe there was a 2-month time frame that they were supposed to test the glass sample that he gave them, and they were supposed to send it back within the 2 months. Well, at 3 months, he had heard nothing from them, and they weren't answering his emails. So, let me get down further in the story. When he finally did hear from them, so this was at 4 months, so they're 2 months overdue, they sent back his sample. Now, keep in mind, this is diamond glass, and this was a big chunk of glass for them to test with. And one of the strict stipulations is that you are not allowed to cut it open, in other words, to reverse engineer it so you can steal the technology. Well, he gets the glass back, and it's in 3 pieces now. So he immediately got suspicious.
Did you see that picture they have there? Is that the real glass? And when you open up the, do you see the scratches though in it too?
Yes, and that's the other thing. It's supposed to be basically not scratchable.
Right. That's what I'm like wondering if they did a switcheroo on him. Did they do that?
No, they did not. No, the FBI will tell us about that a little later.
Okay.
So because it's split and scratched, he already had a relationship with the FBI. And as he explained in this video that's in the story, and this story is from Bloomberg Business Week, by the way, so you can go out and find it. It came out Monday. The FBI, I gather, with any technology company that's developing anything that has diamonds in it or can be used for any military, they contact all these companies, big or small, and they have classes that these guys can go to learn about why the FBI would be interested. So he had some relationship. So the first thing he does with this broken glass that he got back, he contacts the FBI in Chicago, which is where he is. And they told him to send the sample that came back from Huawei to them. Well, he did send it to them. And it turns out the FBI lab determined that Huawei had cut this thing open with a laser, totally breaching their contract and after some back and forth emails and phone calls with the scientists at Huawei in San Francisco, come to find out they had sent the piece of glass to China, and that's where it got cut open. Again, against the law to send it out of the country.
So what you're saying is, if you're saying, is this what's getting that person in trouble that they got in Canada? Is this
No,
what?
no, this is a
No.
totally separate story. That's
Okay.
what makes this so interesting. Is Huawei again screwing up big time?
Mm-hmm.
So this all happened in 2016 on into 2017. So the FBI told Khan to set up a meeting, a face-to-face meeting, and what was coming up? I think they told him to do this in December. Well, in January of 2018, CES in Las Vegas was about
Yeah.
to take place. So they told him, set up a meeting at CES in Vegas, and they were going to put 3 wires on him while he was at that meeting. And that's exactly what they did.
Mm.
So then I'm like, hey, wait a minute. I was at that CES. And I gathered their meeting took place in the convention center. So I might have been walking right by while all this spy stuff was going on all around me and all around us, all of us who were at the convention center. So he did wear a wire, and he had a partner, and I can't find his partner's name. Do you see his partner's name anywhere?
In the, I'm sorry, I was responding
Oh,
to
Aiken. His partner's name was Aiken.
Okay.
Yeah. And the Huawei scientist's last name was Han, and there was a lady, and that's who he shipped the sample to. So when they get to CES, both guys go in for this meeting with them bugged, so the FBI could listen in. But it turns out that the suite that had been rented for them to have their meeting, well, Huawei didn't show up. And then they call him and say, well, we had to go to something else, so can you meet us downstairs? So they met, I gather, in the cafeteria, and that's where their discussion took place. But they were still wired, and the FBI was listening to everything that was said in their conversation. And I gather they got confirmation in this discussion, and this lady had brought another scientist from Huawei with her, also a lady, and they both admitted that they had shipped it out to China and it had come back from China, breaking the law right there. So I'm flipping down this story. So they met them on Tuesday, January 8th of 2018, and they were supposed to meet in Mandalay Bay. They ended up meeting in the convention center with a lot of other people around them, but they still had their meeting. So turns out there are about to be, or there's expected to be, charges filed against Huawei for once again breaking US law with this piece of glass and trying to steal the technology. So anyway, I thought this was a very big deal story.
So what do you think the outcome's going to be, though? We already got one in jail, and you think there will be more charges?
I think there may come more charges. They're deciding in San Francisco if they're going to file charges on this one. And if you want to look up the story, folks, it's in Bloomberg Business Week, and the title of the story is Hawaii Sting Offers Rare Glimpse of the U.S. Targeting a Chinese Giant. And this thing just reads like a spy novel. And if you go to the story,
I grabbed the link, I put it in the comments.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a bit of it's not your quick story, but it's interesting.
This is a really long article, but in the middle of it, there's a 13-minute video with Khan, the inventor of this glass, and he's being very honest about what went on, and it's really a spy movie type of stuff to me. Nobody's gotten killed yet.
for all the stuff that's going on right now in our country and the with Trump and all that stuff, but this is really prime stuff here that they deserve to be. I hate to see it. Booted out of the country, and I hate to see their goods not here. But this is pretty blatant. You know what I mean?
And this is on top of the other thing.
Right. This doesn't. And I can't believe though that they came to CES with those. I think Honor phones.
Yes.
I still can't get over they came to the United States to present those phones, and how I understand those phones are supposed to be able to purchase here in the States.
Yeah.
And
you can still purchase Huawei phones. You can purchase them on Amazon.
Can you?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So I think Huawei has brought all of this on themselves. And this is not just Trump. This has been going on in the Obama administration, and they were investigating them. And then, because they had stolen T-Mobile technology back in 2010.
I was seeing about that. Yeah.
They got prosecuted for that, and they finally settled that with T-Mobile. But then in this story, it shows that they were stealing stuff from other companies back in 2002. So this has been going on for In 2002, Cisco Systems accused the company of stealing source code for its routers. Okay. Motorola said in a 2010 lawsuit that Huawei had successfully turned some of its Chinese-born employees into informants. And in 2012, during the Obama administration, House Intelligence Committee labeled Huawei a national security threat and urged the government and American business not to buy its products. Obviously, that not to buy its products for the government only came to fruition about a year and a half ago. But this has been going on for a long time, and it seems to me, as much as I like Huawei, and I have a Huawei phone right back there from a year and a half ago, they are bringing this stuff on themselves, and it seems to me whatever they end up getting, they deserve. Meanwhile, even though their stuff is not selling in the US or hardly at all, their stuff is selling like crazy in Europe and in Asia. But British, French, German, Japanese, Australian, they're all thinking about putting some kind of restrictions or bans on Huawei. So I think they have brought this completely on themselves, and they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, Alan says that Huawei had two booths at CES, one for phones and one for TVs. Even it's a shame that they had two booths there. We're never going to experience them.
And this past year, who was considered to make the best phone with the best camera of anybody? Well, it was Huawei. Better than Pixel, better than Samsung. The P20, I think, or the P20 Pro.
Well, we talked about too, if they're going to put a hurting on the 5G technology, because they were supposed to be the ones that were providing the hardware, the ability to roll that out. So now we're going to have to deal with a shortage, somebody trying to come up with the goods, other players, as you could say, as you could say. So
Tech is making the point in the comments, and I follow his channel. Follow Alta Tech. He's pretty good, folks.
Yes,
if
definitely.
Huawei had such a bad track record, it's crazy how AT&T was ready to plant Huawei's 5G here. And you remember, the day they were going to announce their partnership with Huawei, that's the day it got canceled.
Yeah, right.
And the thing is, as far as I can tell, the biggest maker of 5G equipment on Earth right now is Huawei.
Huawei, yeah.
So, and they have a lot of telecommunications equipment in our country, in Europe. So they're really shooting themselves in the foot badly, in my opinion. So it seems like even with all the progress they're making with their telecommunications equipment, with 5G, their phones are very popular in Europe and in Asia. They're the #2 phone manufacturer in the world, right behind Samsung. And all this time, still behind the scenes, they still have this let's steal stuff from people, let's steal stuff. That seems to be the mentality for a very, very long time.
Right, right. And I can't believe though one company, you start to. I'm still a little concerned the repercussions from this. You've really had two companies at one point. You had ZTE also got
ZTE and
into
Huawei,
trouble. Right. Now, is it the Chinese government pushing?
Well,
are they being or is it just Huawei being the wild one in the bunch?
I think Huawei's the wild one, and here's why I think so. ZTE was caught selling stuff to Iran and North Korea.
Right.
And they almost were put out of business because of it, but they took their slap in the wrist. They paid that huge amount of penalty they had to pay, and they seem to be, back set. They're selling some phones in the U.S. right now, and everything seems to be okay. The reason I say it looks to me like Huawei is the wild one is because they never seem to learn. The chief financial officer, the daughter that's arrested in Canada right now, she is the one who was connected with selling stuff to Iran against our laws. So that's why she's in trouble, and money laundering the money to try to clean it up. This is a separate story, and it seems like no matter how successful they are, they still want to steal stuff. And it seems our government officials think that Huawei is the one that is directly connected to the Chinese government, which the father who started the company once was a military officer.
Right.
And our politicians seem to believe this guy still has some very good working relationship with the Chinese government. I never heard any of that said about ZTE. So I think ZTE got caught, they paid their penalty, and they're back in business.
Yeah, I just hope this doesn't spread to other companies.
That's the point. Who's the company that's still up and coming in the U.S.? Well, it's Xiaomi. Nobody's accusing them of anything. Nobody's
not yet
doing anything. So I think this is just Huawei and ZTE for what they sold, but Huawei now just totally being what I guess they've been all along. We're going to steal what we can steal and get away with what we can get away with. Well, you can't get away with it.
No, you can't.
So anyway, I thought that was a huge story. So I just
that was, and I hope we hear about more what comes out of it. You would think there would be more press about something like that.
Well, yeah. See, there was a lot of press about her.
Yeah.
If I hadn't been doing some research yesterday, I would not even have found this story.
And
this all went down at CES last year.
Right, and nobody never heard the name Huawei until this went down. Outside of our own little world.
Outside of all us techies,
yeah. So
it's a shame that they're doing this to themselves, but I firmly believe they're doing this to themselves.
Yeah,
and I hope this poor guy Khan, who invented this incredible glass, ends up making millions of dollars from it. I certainly hope that.
Yeah.
So all right. So you want to go on to? You want to take the next story?
Hey George, guess what? Motorola came out with some phones.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not just one, not two, not three, but four. Did you know that? 4 phones at once.
You're not just being a phony? Oh. You set me up. Come on now.
I don't go. That took a little while to get the pun out. Okay, there he goes. 6. You got your pun. It took a little while, but we got it. Yeah. So as you know, I know my friend Will. He's going to be picking up a Motorola phone. After seeing that phone. I think he's really going to. I know you are. I know you are.
Let me disconnect one sec.
Okay. So Motorola is going to have a new phone. They're supposed to be coming out here in the States in the spring. And no, I know my man George here. He's going to get you're going to get that Plus model.
Yeah, here's the Moto G6 Plus. And so.
Yeah, what color is that?
This one is green, I believe. I haven't taken it up for a couple.
I'm very upset because they showed the red one.
Oh, this is the blue one.
It's very nice, but they got the red one in a Plus.
Yes, I saw that.
I'm very upset, and I don't think they're going to have the red one here in the States.
Yes, but my guess is we're not going to see it because last year they did the same thing that they did this year for the United States, and they had
Yeah,
an event in Chicago yesterday, and they also had one in Brazil because Brazilians Motorola is the number one phone seller in Brazil,
right.
and they introduced the Moto G7, the Moto G7 Play, and the Moto G7 Power, not the Moto G7 Plus, which is exactly what they did last year. Well, the Plus is by far the highest spec version of the four phones, and it has dual speakers, but they didn't release it to the US again.
Why do you do that? I
I
mean,
have no idea.
why? I mean, and it's more money, isn't it? Isn't
A
that going to
little
be
bit more. All of these are budget phones. None of these phones are going to be over $300, as far as I can tell. Or even if it's four, I'm still going to get it.
what? No, what? No, the price points on
Yeah.
the G7 is going to be. Thought I saw. Yeah, 299. Yeah, 299, 249, and 199 for the G7 Play.
Okay, so if the G7 Plus is 400, I'll still be getting it.
And well, I don't know. I don't know what the spec. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to check into the specs of the G7 Plus, but it's supposed to have a better chipset and something else. I think it's going to be bigger.
And it's got it's got dual speakers and something else too. I forgot.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's by far. They all say it's by far the highest spec of the four. And last year, before I bought the Moto G6 Plus, and people in America love the G6, but the G6 Plus is better. I went out and I looked up the bands, and I'm like, hey, this has all the bands for T-Mobile. Mm-hmm. Well, yesterday I went out and checked for the G7 Plus. Well, guess what? It has all the bands for the T-Mobile. So as soon as it pops up on Amazon, I'm going to be getting that one again.
So I already saw Google Fi saying they're going to have the G7. Cool. There's reports of T-Mobile going to get a variant of it.
Right.
And I saw one Android Authority was there, and the gentleman was talking that the only person that was there representing any carrier was Verizon. So I wouldn't be surprised you would see at least the G7 Plus on the prepaid side. Of it.
I'm thinking like last year, you're not going to see a Plus version anywhere but Amazon. I could be wrong,
Well, on Amazon, as an international model,
right. That's what I bought, and I found that phone to be a fantastic phone in every possible way. And if my subscribers remember, I walked around with that phone as my daily driver for about 6 months.
Now, I did one thing that comes to my mind with this phone, and I didn't get a chance to check the price point, but I think we're going to have a new competitor on the block as far as going toe to toe with Motorola on the G line, and that's going to be that new mobile phone, the G4 Plus or the G4. I think they're calling it.
Maybe I don't see new mobile competing with Motorola until they get off of the who makes their
the MediaTek. You're talking about
they get off of the MediaTek processors. Yes.
Really? You don't think so?
MediaTek processors are not Qualcomm processors, and nobody's claiming they are. And MediaTek keeps getting better and better, but are they as good as
I don't know. I mean,
630? I don't think so. I could be wrong.
What little I've seen of the new phones, of the new mobile phones, people never really complain about the performance of the phone. Now I have to say,
they've gotten a lot better. New Mobile had sent me free phones 3 years ago.
Oh yeah,
getting started, but they're a lot better now. I guess.
A lot better, and I guess also too the helps with the operating system too with Android Oreo and Pie.
Yeah,
or if that's going to help too. But the G7 really comes in strong, and I will admit though the Moto phones are quite strong.
Yeah, and if you remember, the G6 last year, since the Plus wasn't released yet, everybody who got a hold of a G6 seemed to love that phone, and they just didn't know the G6 Plus was even better.
I was scared of the G6 getting it because I think it used the 450 processor. And my past experience with the 450 was in my wife's stylo.
Right.
And that was, but I know that I don't know what the RAMs were. Was it 3 or 4 gig? I don't think I have
it
4
was
gig.
3 in this 4 in
Yeah,
the Plus.
I just, and I didn't see why would the 600 series chip is always a great chip, great chipset. I always love having when I had in my G5 Plus. I've had access to some other ones. It's the 6 series, and then when I hear it was a 632 in this one, I'm like, oh, and they did it across the board. They kept the same chipset across the board. So
and both the British guys who I saw do videos on the new line said the fact that the G7 Plus has the 630 is much better than the Moto G6.
Going to be much better, I think. And then it's going to be interesting because to see what this kind of phone, because at least it's going to get at least one iteration of the new operating system.
Exactly.
They always will give. So it's going to get Android Q.
Yeah.
So
if I were you, I would definitely not shy away from getting a Moto G7. Now, of course, if you wait till I get a G7 Plus and you see what I think, you may just go to Amazon and get one like I do.
Yeah. I Motorola still has an extremely soft spot in my heart. So, and they keep on making the phones with no lag, no bloat at all. It's the closest thing you're going to come to stock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Outside getting a next one, I will say next.
Yeah, let me stop and say hello to Serrano Butler. He's in here.
Hey, Serrano.
Walter Tech is in here. Gary Brown is in here, and Rob from RP3 Tech Reviews. He just dropped in.
Hey.
And from Team 100.
Hey there.
So, welcome, guys.
I'm adjusting to your Thursday nights because the fact is, I listen to you guys the next day and gets me through by Friday morning. So yeah.
All right. So next story. So everybody, we're not sure when these G7s are coming out. They said
this spring.
Now,
as always, they always say they come out.
What's promising to me is they said last year the Motos weren't announced until April. Well, I got my G6 Plus in April off Amazon, so I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, maybe Amazon will have my G7 Plus. So.
I wouldn't put it surprise too. I would see some of these variants on like an Amazon Prime phone. I would expect to see maybe the Power or the Play in T-Mobile or Metro PCS or Cricket. Those. And go ahead.
And surprisingly, who did I watch? One of the British guys, one of the big British YouTubers that he unboxed all 4 phones. And he said that the G7, I gather, in the UK is going to be a Prime exclusive or Amazon exclusive, which surprised me.
I'm sorry, which variant?
The regular G7. In the UK is going to be an Amazon
in the
exclusive.
UK, yeah. For Amazon UK, you're talking about.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right.
So I just found that surprising.
I found it 2 things. Other things interesting was if you were to do if you would do a search in YouTube for Moto G7 review, let's say, and what you see is all the people outside the United States, not really many here. I had to put the word in Android Authority to try and get a local taste for it.
Right.
So this phone is huge for the rest of the world. And like you said, Brazil, it's just going to run away with it.
Right. And that's what I did yesterday. I went and did a search, and the first 3 or 4 that popped up were all in the UK. Now, of course, the only ones that have their hands on the phones are guys who are big enough YouTubers that they just sent them the phones. Well, they sent them all 4 phones.
And like you said, the British one you saw, I see a bunch of in India, in the Indian.
The first 2 I saw were British.
Right. So and right. one last thing though, I found it kind of like strange, like why cry over it? The gentleman who did the review on Android Authority, he was like going, and no NFC. It's like come on, it's a budget phone, all right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, but the G7 Plus does have NFC.
right, well,
Yes,
again, that's still one of those things scratch my head. That phone should be here in the States.
I agree,
I
100%.
can't
And it has
understand how
all the
people can
bands.
afford. How can you afford that phone? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. And the first thing I know, it had all the T-Mobile bands. I'm like, okay, I'm down with that. You know.
Wow. So
Okay,
what's our next one here?
next
Um,
one.
oh, let's
I'm trying to
see.
click on it.
Is it
I
about the see here?
iPhone apps.
iPhone apps get caught. Uh, you know, George, what is all this about iPhones having all these problems? A certain person who would normally be here and that's sipping on apple juice will always talk about how great iPhones are.
Yeah,
Haven't we had
defending them.
haven't we had nothing but a train wreck of privacy concerns? Have we not? Look at
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Apple is a popular iPhone apps caught recording your screen without permission, and here are the offenders. I
Which
mean,
is good because they actually named the companies.
I know. I saw that. I'm like, really? So, I mean, but then again, my Android phones, they don't have that problem at all. Okay.
Ooh, ooh. It's a good thing Will isn't here. You just would have set him off.
Well, I see in the comment. Wait.
Wait, wait.
I bet
Well,
his
Will,
I
even if
bet his
you were
voice
here,
is
you
getting
can't
better
talk
now.
anyway.
Wait a minute. If I point this way, I can hear him from Sicklerville. Okay.
There you go. Now, this is
Uh,
don't want to misconstrue things, folks. This is not Apple's doing. Uh,
well, wait a minute. Hold
these are
on.
done by certain companies employed a third-party analytics data company, and they can record everything you do while inside their app. So Apple's not doing this; it's the people putting their apps out, and they can either capture your data firsthand, or they hire a company called Glassbox who captures
Mhm.
it firsthand and sends it to them. But they capture everything you do in their app, including your passwords and your credit cards if you have them in that app. Oh,
But
and
let me
I might as well read the companies while we're here.
oh,
The
okay.
companies they have listed here are Abercrombie and Fitch, Hollister, Expedia, Hotels.com, Singapore Airlines, and Air Canada. So this article is from BGR, who's
Hmm.
a very reputable uh,
It's
tech
been out in
blog.
other
Yeah.
tech sites talked about
So
it. So
according to them, these six companies, if you open their app, every single thing you do in their app, anything you put on their app, any information about yourself you put in their app, it
yeah,
gets sent to
and
some
that's the
person.
other thing though too. Yeah, they could have gotten a snapshot of your credit card information, stuff like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Will's already firing back at me or on my iPhone.
Okay.
Uh,
Android had like 29
yeah.
photo apps in the Play Store that were doing something. Yeah, he's right. He's right. It's like he's the personal
I know.
counselor for Apple. I hope they're sending you a cut, Will.
Such an eye sheep, I tell you. Anyway, but George, let me just say this though too. I don't want to place blame on the on this glass box or the people who had these apps. Well, first off, these one, two, three, four, five, these six companies had to know that this was going on. First off, okay, why these six companies? If you know what I'm saying, they had to know that was going on. And I want to say though too is why he puts it up a sheep. That's good. Why I think Apple should have known that some kind of code was changed. If
Yeah,
they're all
but
big about it, I find it hard to believe we just can't let Apple off the hook on this one.
yeah, I'm thinking we can let Apple off the hook because keep in mind, in every case, this is done inside that particular company's app and nowhere else, and they can't get data from you outside of their app. So I think Apple had no way of knowing that these people were doing this in their own app until it was found out. And I did see a story, I can't remember where, somewhere, that Apple has forbidden all companies to be collecting data within their apps going forward. So I give Apple credit for that. So I think Apple is off the hook on this one.
Now, Altertech posted here, usually I go through app permissions to be safe. Go to settings, apps, and app permissions.
Yes. But if you gave permission for Hollister to use their app, well, they're collecting your data as soon as you give them permission. And if you don't, you probably can't use their app, is my guess. And I can't let these companies off the hook because some of these companies hired Glassbox to do exactly
that. That's what I mean. They knew that what they were getting into.
Exactly.
They knew, because it would be, it's these specific ones they hear. You know what I mean? So
right.
I'd like to know how they found out. Who spilled the beans on this?
I saw something about TechCrunch in here. Yeah, the same analyst looked at other apps for TechCrunch, and ChatCrunch is another big blogger, and found that not every app was leaking data. So I gather these are the 6 they could specifically identify. That's what my feeling is.
George, I want to know: are you sipping on apple juice right now? Because Will's applauding you. He says, "Tell him, George."
If Will's applauding,
what are you drinking? What are you drinking? You got you.
Well, I am wearing. I am wearing my Apple Watch. And I do have my iPhone right here.
There we go. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, but I'm also watching us on my OnePlus 6 at the same time.
So yeah.
So anyway, I gather Apple has forbidden these companies, has stopped them from doing it, I hope. And they're forbidding other companies from doing this, collecting your data in their apps going forward. So let's hope that's the end of
it. Will would tell Will he's asking in the comments, and I tried to describe to him, but he's asking what happened to your AirPods.
Well, for some reason, and of course, you know me, you're my guru for this stuff, and I didn't get a chance. Tonight, I put in the AirPods, and Mike was coming through like my eardrums are going to break. And of course, it's coming through my computer. I could not figure out how to turn them down. I tried turning down the computer, didn't work. So I had to switch because it was, keep in mind, I played in rock bands for years, sang in rock bands for years. I like loud, but this was loud. So I had to switch. That's why I'm not using
every time I said something, he just, you were like, why? I can't turn it down.
I mean, the old man almost passed out. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I thought I saw your head shaking,
Yeah.
So.
And I'm the guy who used to stand in front of when we were playing Led Zeppelin, and I'm the guy standing in front singing, saying, make it louder, make it louder. So I'm good with loud, but this was loud. Okay. All right, Mike, you want to take the next story?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get to, here it is. So apparently Apple, which I guess is AAPL is their stock exchange.
That's the stock exchange.
Exchange. Okay. Yes. Apparently, it seems like Apple is the most richest or most valuable company.
At the end of trading on Wednesday, they were back to the number 1 most valuable company on earth.
So it was flip-flopping back and forth with the Amazon and Microsoft.
Right.
With Google bringing up basically the rear. In so many words here, as a report on CNBC, Apple's market capitalization currently at $821.5 billion. Okay, billion with a B.
Okay.
These companies to Google. This compares to Google at 778 billion, Amazon at 805 billion, and Microsoft at 813 billion. Yeah. I like to say billion.
You're saying it right, brother.
Yeah. So they seem to now. What's the big story with this? Is basically, are they? Apple was always the one in the top dog, and they kind of like it.
Starting last fall, Apple was the number one company and stayed there until I guess the beginning of December. Then they fell off. So this is the
Yeah, well,
first time
they did
at the
have a
end of
fall.
trading. Huh?
I don't know. A few
Yeah.
weeks back, I remember showing the graph like going like this.
Right.
Yeah, it says here
Exactly.
Apple finished up 0.06% compared to Tuesday at currently at 174 and 24 cents. While
Right.
Apple was certainly been on a rise last month, it's strong, long ways from the 6-month high of $232.
That would have been back in
That
September. That would have, October 3rd.
which
October 3rd.
October 3rd, which is a good swing there. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money there.
But a lot of that's based upon their reporting of the revenue, coming down. So I think it's kind of showing they're making kind of a strong comeback, don't you think?
Yeah, but I don't just they're coming back, and I think that's more of a financial thing. It has some effect on like performance of selling the hardware,
Right.
but I think yeah, I don't think they're going to be hurting anytime soon. And
I agree.
I really strongly think that I got to listen to that Renee Fellows that video that Will shared. I want to go back and listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, though, they noticed they had to make some adjustments to their hardware side as far as getting the products out.
Right.
Just recently, I think I saw the iPhone 10 able to be purchased again as a refurbished.
I saw that too. Yeah.
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 But they're smart if they can keep getting more converts to come to their ecosystem. Now, I said last week, I talked about before that Apple needs to get into more of a service / software,
which is what they said they're going to do.
Right. So if they can sell services.
Yeah. But I still think the fact that this is only the first week of February, technically,
mm-hmm.
and they're making this strong of a comeback this soon, especially after their earnings report,
right.
I still think the iPhone XR is a lot of what's responsible for their current success.
Right. We do have, is there something coming up before Google I/O? They have?
Apple?
Apple has some kind of conference.
Oh, they have their, I forget the name of that. Will, what's the name of Apple's big yearly conference?
WWDC.
WWDC,
right.
And is WWDC before Google's in May? I guess. Yeah,
it's going to be just before then. You got they
work WWDC then Google. Okay. Yeah.
Microsoft and Apple are like before or after each other, know. And I know I've said this, I've asked, or I'm not sure, will they release any kind of hardware? They generally talk about software and what the more developer thing.
Right.
So I guess
it's a developer conference, so it makes sense.
Yeah. So, but I see a lot of talk about a new iPad coming out.
AirPod, you have 2. The same rumors every year before the WWDC, and most of the time people are disappointed, and they always have to remind people it's a developer conference, and they're right,
Alter Tech, real quick, he has a question. What's a good reason to pick up an iPad aside from watching movies and playing games? I would like, other than those two things personally, is try to edit video on the go.
But
using iMovie.
Oh, using iMovie.
Okay. Oh, using iMovie. Oh, yeah. Okay. I would just use iMovie and get a taste for that. And I know many people have talked about iMovie being a good base, and then people have used iMovie a lot before they really took the big leap to Final Cut, I think they call it.
Final Cut Pro, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So
let's see, for me, probably in the next week or so, I'm going to get myself a MacBook Air, an old MacBook Air, probably a 2015.
Where are you shopping at? Where are you looking at?
I think it's Mac. Oh, I forgot the name of the website. I have to go find it again. But there's two big sites that sell a lot of used and
Like who?
refurbished Macs. I can't
Okay.
remember the names.
Okay. I'm trying to think of um Daily Steals always has look up a site
And
called Daily Steals.
these people deal specifically in Macs and Macs only.
Oh, really?
Let me go see if I can
Wow.
find them. Let's see.
Will saying your transition is almost complete.
Yeah, the dark side. I'm already a brother. I don't need the dark side. Okay.
Oh man. I wish Will was coming. I wanted to ask him tonight, what's he going to do with his OnePlus 6? Because I know he's going to get the itch and stop looking at it. And I told him he never responded to my message saying don't sell it.
Okay. Oh, I got the two. The one I'm probably going to buy from is macofalltrades.com. Okay. But there's another big one that's max the letter 4u.com. So
Max with an S.
Yeah, MACS number 4u.com.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm probably going to get mine of macofalltrades.com. And next week and a half, I'll be getting a MacBook Air 2015. The key being it's going to be an i7, not an i5, dual core. And from everything I've watched tons of videos, I should be able to do some really nice editing on it. And I think I'll be able to edit 4K quicker than I can on my 1 terabyte desktop, which is what I use now.
Look at the comment Serrano's saying there.
$499 on for 20. Yeah, but it has to have all the specs I want. So far, Mac of all trades is the only place I've found. And yeah, if that's an i5, yeah, you can find lots of Core i5s for that, but you can't find i7s that cheap. Cheapest I can come in at is $700, and that's probably going to. And then I'm going to have to spend another $300 to get the Final Cut Pro.
Yeah, he says it's i5. Alter Tech, he says he has a 2015 Air as well. Great performance even in 2019. It also comes with the ports, which is a big deal now.
And I saw that. But for me, I have to be able to do a lot of 4K because what started me looking is every time I record 4K from either one of the phones, and there's always two phones I'm doing it with. It takes an hour and a half for me to get my stuff rendered, and then another half hour, 45 minutes to get it uploaded.
Right. So. Now, I want to know though, does the Alter Tech? Do you have the i5 version?
Yeah, he said he's got the i5. Oh, Alter Tech.
Alter Tech, yeah. I was wondering how he is the performance. I know you said i7. I get you, but I just wanted to hear what
I have to have i7. But
okay.
And he does good videos because I've been following him a lot lately. And
I love the detail in that last one with the Cheeto.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you the one talking about the yellowing in the face of his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, that was an awesome video.
Yeah. That's some dangerous stuff you're getting into, which is good. It's good stuff.
He said you'll need an external SSD drive. Just got the i5. So I'm going to get the i7. So that's why I'm spending the extra money.
So you're going to donate to Apple's stock fund, in other words, so you can get them back.
I'm giving it to Max, not to Max.
I know. Well, wait a minute, you will, because eventually you're going to go and find something that's Apple related that you might need to order. No, or software or something.
Well, I'll certainly be getting Final Cut. You can count on that.
No, Will, I'm not going to talk about Jeff Bezos and him being naked for a National Enquirer.
I don't want to see his naked pictures. And to me, what's the newspaper again?
National Enquirer.
The National Enquirer. All right. I realize the National Enquirer is the National Enquirer, and they're big, and they've been around since we were little kids. Even since I was a kid, they've been around.
They're straight up trash.
Is it really smart for them to take on the richest man in the world? I don't think so.
I think this whole thing is stupid. Personally, I'm not saying he was naked. What's the big deal? I would hope he's, in his privacy of his own property. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on.
And I read somewhere he's got 3 different companies investigating how they got a hold of these pictures. So he's probably going to put somebody in jail, is my guess. And I keep thinking he's going up against the richest guy on earth. Who knows? Maybe he'll get pissed off and just buy the company, and that's that.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah. So Bezos' ex-wife looks better than the side chick.
I'm not going there. This from a guy with a beautiful girlfriend. I mean, come on now.
What's the next one there, George? Let's see here.
All right. Next up is the Apple FaceTime audiobook exploit. Okay, so I'm clicking on.
Are you talking about the release? Wait a minute. The next one is
FaceTime.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, FaceTime eavesdropping bug is a bug privacy touting Apple. Update fix is now available.
Oh, okay.
And I can tell you let me see. I got to see myself on camera here. That is absolutely true. Because I downloaded it yesterday, 12.1.4. I saw an article about it. I went to see if I had an update, and I downloaded 12.1.4 last night. So now the FaceTime bug is gone, and
George. I'm getting pestered by some Apple sheep. He wants to link to the stream.
Oh, he wants to get in now?
All of a sudden, he had a miraculous recovery. He can't take it. That we're probably talking about the wrong stuff about Apple.
Send them the link.
I tell you,
we need a rant. That's from a guy who's going to go on a double shift sick.
Please stop.
Okay.
Stop. All right, hold on. I'm getting there. Oh my goodness gracious. Will.
Meanwhile,
let's see. Oh man! All of a sudden, he's going to really go to town. Watch.
All of a sudden, he goes well.
I know.
Meanwhile, in a related story, Apple. It turns out the kid who found the first FaceTime bug originally is 14 years old. Okay, and to Apple's credit, I'm pulling the story up now. Apple is compensating the kid who figured out the sketchy eavesdropping FaceTime bug. So this kid is 14 years old. It took his mother a week to get even to let know about it. Yeah, but the company plans to reward Grant Thompson with undisclosed compensation and an investment in his education. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is. And I'm glad, though, Apple's taking a moment to recognize that there's people out there that are willing to, let them know that there's a problem. That was interesting to see that they're going to make an effort to try and so people can notify them if there is something.
Yeah.
I always see
Apple that it took his mother a week to get through to them. Got through to them.
Right. And that's the thing, though. I know that I think I can get through to Google faster personally. You
can't. Trouble making in the house.
Listen here, we can get through to Google right now. Hold on, let me get their number. I'll let you know. I'll prove it right now. All right. Look here. Listen here.
Hold on.
Listen here.
Oh, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. Will's got his voice back.
He couldn't take it.
Wait.
Can you see the headline here? Apple recovers man's voice.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, look. Six is the apple juice curing him.
I got a hold.
He drank some apple juice and his throat cleared right up.
Oh my God! He drank the whole bottle, folks.
Oh
my God!
Oh, it's fun to have this at his expense. I'm enjoying myself.
I was awake. I was awake anyway. I was like, I'm not resting. I'm just laying here coughing. So I might as well.
All right. So since you're an hour. You're an hour late.
I love it. Your wife's comment. He says, "Talk about Apple will magically."
Right on, Eleanor. She's right about that. You know.
All right.
You couldn't take it.
All right, Will.
Let me see.
We're an hour in. I think Will should get to say whatever he wants.
Oh man! Oh, it was so.
I was watching y'all on the TV, and I couldn't sleep anyway, so I figured I'd come on.
All right, so say whatever you got to say about Apple.
Nothing. I was listening to y'all. Y'all were doing good. George was down the fort.
What?
What's that?
George was holding down the fort. George was right on. George had it all with the app thing, and George was doing it.
I try to be fair.
Nah, I don't know. I kind of disagree a little bit.
You can't, Mike. You can't blame them for that. Because it wasn't like Apple was
that wasn't Apple.
That was those 6 or whatever apps were doing it. That's like with all those.
Right.
What was it? 29 Google apps were doing something with the photos or whatever. 29 of them. It just wasn't a big story because it was.
And you can't blame Google for it either.
But it didn't make a big story because it was, the Play Store is always something going on.
Will's back.
There's always something going on in the Play Store that's not right.
Let's see. Let me look to Google that. Let me Google that.
Look what I sent you, Mike. Look at it.
Hey, Will, do you see what my wife said? Hey, Will, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and you're proving it. Right on.
Now tomorrow at 12 noon, I'll be mad that I came on here, but.
Of course you will. You'll be into your second shift.
Yeah, when them residents are getting on my nerves.
Are you going to go in there and make all these people sick?
Nah, I've been going all week.
Oh snap!
This has been all week.
No way. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it would frown upon you going into work with a head cold.
It ain't really. I don't know what it is. It's not really a head cold. Just my throat was killing me. But
So did you?
I just wear a mask. I just wear a mask. Today it was really bad. Like 4:00 this morning, it was really bad. I just wear a mask.
Mike, can you see him going into his patients and they say, "Oh yeah, the mask. You look better with the mask. You should wear that all the time."
They'll just think I didn't get the flu shot.
Okay. All right. Will, do you want to take the next story?
Did you see that, Mike?
I think it's.
Which one about the malicious apps from Google?
Yeah, you see that?
No, I wanted to take.
Oh no! Hold on, let me find it.
The LG G8.
Oh, my favorite. Hold on. Hold on, George. Let me
Will,
find
do you have the email?
I'm going to it. I'm going to it right now.
All right, yeah, I want you to do the LG G8 story. Because you're going to be jealous because they're stealing Apple's technology.
Let me see. What'd you say, Mike?
I got a quick question for the both of you, and it's a serious one. Is there supposed to be a notification button, like a notification dot, telling you got the update on your phone? Did you? I
didn't have it. I didn't see any, but I saw an article and I went and looked and I saw that the update was there.
Right. I'm just wondering, like, I got a dot there.
No, you mean on the
Mike,
you mean on the iPhone?
On the iPhone, yeah. Are you supposed to get something telling you that you got an update?
If you turn on automatic updates, I think it just, if you go to settings, it's just there.
Yeah, and that's what I had an automatic update, but I saw it was there and I just installed it manually right away. So I didn't see anything to give me a notification. Oh, by the way, Rob at RP3 is saying he had the same issues. You probably lose your voice tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not been.
Yeah, they were sick.
Fun.
They were sick too.
Can't find it, George.
Walter Text says he loves this live stream, by the way. Hey, if we leave Will out for an hour, we get popular.
All right, let me see.
Listen here, Alter. Let me tell you, there's been some classes. Go back and check out the replays. You'll die. You'll die. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What is this, George? The 3D facial recognition. All right, hold on. I'm trying to find it.
Go for it.
I have to get it off the phone. Let's see what they're saying. Looks like LG's newest phone, the G8. Press conference
just coming out of MWC in a couple weeks.
Yeah, in Barcelona. So it looks like they're gonna have a Face ID. Come on, George. You know this ain't real Face ID.
3D. No, they hired a company to.
Yeah, but it's gonna be Face ID, but Android's not gonna let you use it for nothing.
According to the article, it's already built into
their phone.
Q.
But into
the operating system.
It's going to let you do payments.
Oh, so you think the bank is going to let you use it? That's what I'm talking about. I can't imagine.
Right. That's what I mean.
Let's hope.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Well, Will, you need to explain the story a little better than that. Come on.
I'm skimming it, George. I'm skimming it.
Okay.
Okay. It has one of those, what's it called? Time of flight cameras. That's the new thing. It looks like in all the Android phones.
And they're saying there's going to be more of them this year.
You'll be able to control the phone with gestures. They released a teaser, I guess,
so cool.
a couple days ago. What do they mean with gestures? Not like
In other words, you'll be able to wave your hand in front of the phone and make the page move without touching the phone.
That's like what Samsung was doing with like the S4. Remember?
I remember seeing that. Yeah,
Samsung had
it didn't work out too well on the S4, but I guess they're bringing it back.
I mean, for that time, it was kind of neat. You could make the page scroll by looking at it or something. I forget how it worked, or moving your finger.
My wife had the S4. I never even saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Will.
That's
what happens. This is going to happen. You're going to wave. You're going to change the page or move the page, right? And all of a sudden, you're going to see the battery meter go every time you swipe it, gets lower and lower and lower.
What? Yeah, you're going to get me singing Bob Seger, Turn the Page.
It said LG's press release made no mention of the feature, but the description of the time of flight camera hints at gesture control.
Right.
I guess the time of flight thing is able to calculate the distance from the camera lens using the chip. That's pretty nice. So that's like there was another phone I said they said it's gonna have that where you'll be able to have a better control of like the depth and all that for portrait photos.
And the article says there should be some more phones coming out with that this year to expect. Now, Alta Tech is saying when I used LG for the first time, I figured they were a big Apple fan with that launcher.
I hate their
it's immediately put on another launcher. It could be anybody but that one. Yeah. So
we already know this phone's gonna be $999.
Now wait a minute. I'm gonna ask you guys real quick. These were talking about LG. Did you guys listen to Team 100 at all?
I didn't get a chance.
No.
They had a great point, and I thought it was an interesting idea. That if they want to up their game, if they would make a premium phone that had a stylus, like up the game on a Stylo 4.
Well, yeah, I was going to say they have a Stylo 4, but they've never done it on a premium phone.
Right. What happens if you think they did that? I thought that was a good idea, personally.
I think the Team 100 is right because people that had the Stylo 4 loved the Stylo 3. People love the Stylo 3.
Yeah,
but do you think Stylo 4?
Looking at the losses that LG took, do you think it's worth it for them to put out a phone like that, knowing, you know what I mean?
But LG can afford losses because of their TVs and their refrigerators and their washers and dryers. They can afford losses.
But if they're losing on the regular phone because they're pricing them at almost $1,000, that means their first attempt at a Note is going to be probably $1,200, and it's LG. True. People aren't going to buy it.
That's true, and people are already.
Everybody's just going to go.
They
to the
talked
Note.
About pricing. They should need to lower their prices too.
Yeah, and because more and more people are complaining about Samsung and Apple prices being too high. So it's like it's becoming general in the industry that people are saying your prices are too high. So I agree with you, Will. They need to bring it down. But I think it's a very good idea. You know,
they should have been came with a you know, with a stylus on that phone. Where'd George go, Mike?
I'm still here.
They should have been did that. And Samsung was doing it, but the LG was trying to do all the other innovative stuff with the G5 and all that.
Yeah, they really messed up with the G5, I think. With their friends and all that stuff.
Half the price of years ago.
Yeah. And not having them come not having all those added things come on over, you know, all the friend stuff, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, RP Tech said they keep the price of $7.99, maybe $6.99.
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
totally
and have a premium phone. They, you know, and that's the most crazy thing that the chatter is going around, or the talk is going around, is yeah, my brother isn't here. That
the text is the style. The text style is still free at Metro.
Yeah, release the phones, the two phones at the same time, which is nuts. But I really dug what they were saying, and I really think that would put them potentially get their eyes on the company. You know what I mean? Back on it.
Serrano says LG needs a stock Android phone. Yes. I agree with that too.
Yes. They, or at least come out with a variant of a Android One phone with like
which is basically a stock Android phone.
But you know, I mean, yes. So. Yeah.
All right.
Alter Tech says he's going to wait for the G7 to get the 250 price. Don't worry, it's going to get there real soon.
Well, the G6 and the G5 didn't get there real fast. They stayed up at that price they came up with for quite a while.
Didn't see the G7 for like $3 something, or
no, G6. The G6 was ridiculously cheap.
I'll be getting the Plus, just like I did last year.
The what? You're buying an LG George again?
I'm going to get the Moto G7 Plus.
Oh, I thought you meant LG.
No.
Oh, you're getting the Moto phone, yes.
Mike, did you update to 1.4?
No, I didn't know the app came. I didn't know the update came until like this morning. I think I read.
As soon as I saw it yesterday, I did it right away.
That's why I was asking. Why didn't I? Normally,
if you know, if you have auto updates on, you should get like a little badge that tells you, like, you know what I mean. And then you go to settings, and it'll say,
Wait a minute. Hold on. Go to auto updates. Where?
Go to settings. Go to settings, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's right there in settings.
Go to general.
Right. I'm there.
Now, you see where it says software update?
Yeah, just click that.
You didn't have like a little badge that opened up on your settings telling you that something was, you know, as soon as you open settings, there's usually a badge.
There was no badge for me. I just checked for the update and I saw it was there and I said install it.
Oh, I see. It says automatically install software updates overnight. After they've been downloaded, you will receive a notification before updates are installed for your iPhone. They must be charging and connected to
50%.
That's right. It's got to be charging, yeah. And I didn't wait for overnight, so that's why mine was early.
I turned it on just now, just to see what happens. Okay. All right. So,
Mike, wait. Did you see that thing I sent you, Mike? Did you see the thing I sent you? I think I sent it to you too,
can't
George.
Sneak stuff in behind the subscribers.
No, I sent it to you too, George. I think it was the guy saying that it looks like Apple's gonna have but he's not sure, support for RCS. But he was like, he's not sure.
Yeah, for our new viewers,
nobody knows what RCS is.
Will's obsessed on two things: Apple and RCS.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Obsessed on that.
All right, so one of you need to explain to them what RCS is again.
Yeah,
because Google failed.
All right, we'll explain RCS to the people who may not have heard of it.
It's supposed to be Android's competition for iMessage. Well, it's really not even that. It's supposed to just be better than SMS. You'll be able to send larger files and all that. But from looking on like the forums and all that, it's still slow and the file size ain't that great. But
I guess it's slow.
Yeah, people still complain about it. And right now, I think Verizon has it for like the Pixel 3, and that's it. T-Mobile has it for Samsung S7, I think, and maybe S8. Those models.
And
AT&T has it for nothing. And I think Project Fi just rolled it out, so you can barely use it because the Pixel don't sell the most on Verizon, so you can't use it over there. AT&T doesn't have it on no phone. T-Mobile has it for older phones, so it's still a waste of time. This is like 2 years already. 2 years.
Google mess.
Yeah.
All
right, can we move on to the next story?
Okay.
All right, I'll take this one. New market research suggests the smart speaker race is pretty much over.
I agree.
And that's that's another BGR article. And I agree with that 100%. So somebody did a market research report, and turned out that from December 2017, there were 53 million units of smart speakers. Past September, there were 66 million units of smart speakers. And through December 31st, 35% of all smart speaker owners reported having more than one such device. And that's true. Those of us that have them have at least 2, 3, or 4. I have 4. I've got 3 Amazon and 2 Google Homes.
I got 4, but I got all Google. I don't go back and forth.
I like having both. Likewise, winners in the smart speaker race, Amazon and Google, have been pretty consistent in their position and remain so. Amazon has 70% of the U.S. installed base for smart speakers, and Google has 24%, and Apple's HomePod has 6%. Now, to be fair, Google's and Amazon's are a lot cheaper than Apple's HomePod, but Google and Amazon really outsell everybody. I didn't realize Amazon outsold Google that much. But it's like Apple's HomePod has no chance. I think Apple needs to come out with something cheaper, don't you, Will?
That's what it is, the price. Well, not even just that, because the price in Apple's is limited compared to everybody else. Don't worry, wait till the Bixby speaker. I guess they'll be at like 0.3%. But
yeah,
Apple
costs $349 compared to Google's $30 and Amazon's $20. I mean, come on now.
And you can do less with it. Apple's problem was not really a problem, I guess. Apple's, they're stuck in their ways. They're like, we're gonna, just like they said with the phones, they're trying to make up the premium product, so they don't want to put the price down cheaper. And I guess the
HomePod really what can you do with the HomePod? Can you supposedly sell a lot of stuff you can't, right?
You can't do much with it. So that's why I think it's kind of like Apple. It's closed off sort of. But if you're already in the Apple ecosystem and you don't have a Google Home or whatever, I guess buying a HomePod would be the right way to go if you're going to spend that kind of money, because they say the sound of it is good and all that. It works with your phone, it works with your, works with your Apple TV, you know what I mean? But they're not going to compete in sales with them. But I guess if it's somebody who's already an Apple fan, they're going to buy the HomePod, even if they wait till it goes on sale. But yeah, you can't. It's not like the Google Home, not yet. Anyway, I don't think
not like the Google Home Mini or the Dot. That's for sure.
I don't think they're really going to. Hopefully, Apple will just come out with another model or something in 2 years. I think they're going to.
That's what I would think would be the smart move. Yeah.
You think so? I think they're gonna make it last, because people paid $350 for it, so they're not just gonna abandon it. I think they're gonna support it probably like they do the phones, and as they push updates and all that, I think they'll So that at least if you bought it, you're getting your money's worth. Like look what you said, you're trying to buy a MacBook from what 2015. So that's already 4 years old. You'll still get support.
Now,
so.
Rob, RP3 Tech Reviews is saying Google and Alexa offer displays with some of their products. Apple have a glorified speaker with a subpart assistant. I think he's right.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, and another thing though too is, do we have a case of saturation going on here?
Yes.
You think almost everybody's got one?
Yeah, but wait. But, all right. I don't know anybody who has the HomePod speaker and who has Apple's ecosystem side of their house, like HomeKit stuff. But I don't know what y'all use Google, for. But I use it for the thermostat and use.
I use it to turn on lights. I use it to turn on lights and to connect to my different TVs. That's all.
So Siri is limited, but if you have the Apple thing, the HomePod, and you have HomeKit stuff, I'm sure it's going to work just as good as far as doing stuff in your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with like working with HomeKit.
Yeah. But I don't use Google now for stuff outside of that really, or Google. What's it called? Google Assistant. I don't really use it for stuff outside of. I don't talk to my phone and all that. So for me, if I
Alta Tech makes a good point. My Google Home Mini can understand me when I mumble. Alexa and Siri aren't there yet.
Yeah. They're never Google. Siri's never going to be there though.
No, I don't.
They're not gonna get the how Google's getting all that data. They're not gonna do all that to get your data.
Yeah. Yeah, and the basis of the company is totally different than Google's.
Apple's. That's what I think. I mean, Apple. I'm sure the sales ain't what they thought it was going to be, but I'm sure they didn't think they were going to be competing with a $30 Google Home with all the data and all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just messaged to or put it in the comments to Alter Tech. I just feel Google makes more sense because you have the assistant in your phone, and then you have the added Google Home here, so the two things can talk to each other. You know what I'm saying?
And I have Alexa in my phones.
And I know you can get the app and all that, but this stuff is already integrated with it. It already makes sense. It already works. So
but there are an awful lot of products coming out with Alexa built in, way more so than anybody else. So.
To me, Google's made more sense because it was cheaper. If Google's,
they were throwing them in for free. Weren't they throwing some of these minis for free too? You know,
minis. But when they first came out, If
Apple's was $50, I would have bought it. But I wasn't paying $350 for a smart speaker that I barely use anyway. To me, it's not enough of a convenience for me to spend that kind of money on it.
I agree.
Not $3. That's just like Apple. What's that thing called that Google had? That speaker?
Oh yeah.
I don't know nobody with that.
The Mac. The Mac.
Yeah. I don't know nobody who bought that either.
No, see, that
price was ridiculous on that thing.
Yeah. No matter how good the quality is,
exactly.
But see, that like you were saying, George, that's like Apple's not gonna put Siri or whatever into a $30 speaker like Google will. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Google has all those speakers. Like it was Adam, he bought that speaker for real cheap or whatever. They had Google Assistant.
Yeah, they had Google Assistant. Yeah.
Apple's not going to do that.
And there are already other companies making cheaper ones with Google Assistant built in. I have one upstairs.
You gotta respect Apple kinda, because they're like, we're not gonna lower our prices to, you know what I mean, that far to compete.
I don't
they're
respect that. I think that's stubborn and ridiculous.
Nah, but George, it's stubborn. It's stubborn, but they got a loyal fan base who keeps buying it. I told you I went to the Apple store.
Except
that guy was
they haven't sold a whole lot of HomePods.
George, but they don't care. But that guy came in there. His computer was like 20 years old, and he was still working. He was still using it until it broke, and he was like, "We can't fix it anymore. It's too old." So then he broke down and bought a new one. But he came in there with a huge computer. So people are, they're loyal.
When I get my refurbished MacBook, we'll see how long it lasts.
Wait, George, George, you need to watch Louis Rossman before you buy a refurbished
Oh
MacBook.
he's right. He's right. He's right.
Because give me a reason.
Because some of these people who refurbish them don't fix them right, and you might end up with a dud. You're gonna be upset saying it's Apple's fault, but you bought a refurbished computer.
I wouldn't say it's Apple. I already know where I'm buying it from, and I'm certainly not going to blame Apple for any problem.
Okay.
Louis Rossman, man, he's sharp. He's really sharp. So, hey, we got official Keith in the room. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Official, listen. If you get a bad cold and you don't feel good, drink the apple juice. Here's our guy right here. Look at him.
And Keith, I need to tell you the story we started with tonight was about a FBI sting that Apple had at CES 2018. In other words, you and I were there
Huawei,
in the convention center, and they had a guy wearing a wire taping everything Huawei people said. That was a pretty interesting story. That story's at Bloomberg if you want to check it out.
Oh, Mike, I just saw what you sent me.
Yeah, you saw that? The RCS on the next update.
It's too late for me, Mike.
I know. You're deep into it.
They'll release support, but AT&T won't, so it won't matter.
I know.
Now we don't need to go through the rest of these stories. We're almost at 9:30 already. So on you guys about what you want to do.
I just this one about the deleting messages.
Okay, go for it, Mike. You take it.
Well, it talks about here. Apparently, we could have done this a while ago. A story is here from who's this from? BGR.
BGR, right.
One of the countless Facebook scandals that come to light in 2018 was the CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Excuse me. The ability to delete messages that he had sent. Once the story spread, Facebook confirmed that the CEO's message expires after a set time. Explaining that this was a security measure in a response to Sony email hacks of 2014. Within hours, Facebook announced an unsent feature was in the works for users as well.
Right.
Nearly a year later, if the features appears to be complete, which I just was playing around with it after I was reading this article talking about it, and basically you have 10 minutes roughly to delete a message.
And that's what I found was wrong with. Now you could always delete a message from Messenger, but you'd be deleting it on your side, but whoever you sent it to still had it. In this, the change is now if you delete it, it deletes it from everybody's, but you only have 10 minutes to do it. Well, I don't see Mark Zuckerberg with that limitation, so it's still not the same thing, folks.
Remove for everyone.
Right.
Okay. I'm testing it out right now. I just did it to you, George, just for giggles.
Okay.
Yeah, and I found that interesting.
Don't you find the 10-minute time frame a little ridiculous?
What do you think it should be any limited at all?
If I want to remove it from everybody, I think it should be whenever I remove it. If I do it a year later, I still think it should just remove it. Why the 10-minute time frame? I don't understand.
I don't know. That's a good question, but
if I go into Twitter right now and delete a tweet I put out a year ago, it's gone, right?
Yeah, it's gone. And it's interesting though too. Now I think about it, is that they gave us the ability to do it, but Zuckerberg had it first, and he could only do it. You know what I mean?
And notice the article says in response to the Sony email hack of 2014. So Zuckerberg probably has been able to do this for 3 years already. It's my guess.
Right. He had the ability. He had a special app.
Exactly.
I mean,
just for him.
Right. So, but I wanted to ask everybody in the room, you guys included, with George, do you use Hangouts?
Just with you guys.
Just with us, okay. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of Messenger. I just didn't like it. It looked like a childlike. I just didn't care for it. But now it's starting to grow on me.
Right.
And I the only thing that's stopping us as the family, because we have a four-way chat between Adam and Chris and my wife and my mom. We use Hangouts to do the talk, the chat. Now with it going away,
Right.
Trying to find an alternative. Now I know my brother, we're big on Discord and we're able to have that four-way chat, but I didn't know if you had an alternative that you guys were going to start using to have multiple conversations. It seems like though Facebook Messenger is a lot more. You could do a lot more with it.
Yes, you can do a lot with Facebook Messenger. Helena uses like crazy.
Does she?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you use it a lot too?
No.
No. You're just straight up good old fashioned text. If you had a text had a message somebody.
Well, I use Duo. If I want to talk to somebody face to face, I use Duo or I'll use FaceTime.
Got you.
That's what they're there for to me. So why do I need Messenger for? I don't.
Got you.
Mike, what are you saying? Do we use what? Facebook Messenger?
Real quick, Alter Text says that I bet the FBI could undelete those messages.
Yeah, I'll bet you they could too. Yeah, good point. Now, keep in mind, this Alter Tech, he's one of the really cool guys because he's from Jersey City.
No.
Yeah. And well, we Hudson County guys, we know our stuff,
Uh-huh. So,
like Alan also from Jersey
I was just
City.
going to say, Alan's one of the cool guys too. He's from that neck.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, Will, what was your question? I'm sorry.
What was your question? Do we use Facebook Messenger?
Yeah. Are you going to find yourself going to use it more with Hangouts going away? Do you use Hangouts?
I don't use Hangouts. Only with you and George.
Nobody. Same here.
Wow. Okay. And I know you're on the Apple juice, so.
Yeah, but everybody I know uses iMessage or Facebook Messenger, but I don't even really use Facebook Messenger too often. Only with people like my wife's family, you know what I mean. But most of this we just use iMessage.
Do you notice that Messenger has the blue bubble?
Yeah, I bet you that's why they made it a blue bubble, because they knew, subconsciously people are going to be like, I'm used to the blue bubble on iMessage, so let's keep it blue.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
I honestly, when I first saw, what's that thing called? Android messages. I don't know why they went with all these crazy colors. Why not just Why not just make a one color? I don't know why do you start your message? Sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's green, sometimes that's dumb. It should just be one color. There's nothing to identify it. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't have a trademark color or nothing. It's just a whole bunch of colors.
I was just asking in general, just because I went from not really liking it to I'm using it more, and I find it easier because I can do it on
who do you use it with, Mike?
Family, except for some family, some friends.
Okay.
So you really are a user. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I was just going to say is I find it easy with beans that carry multiple phones. I can have this one over there and this one in my pocket, or vice versa. You know what I mean? So I can answer. And that's the thing about Hangouts was, as long as the account, I had the same account on all the phones, I can answer at any time. I like that ability to, where SMS text would be only to one phone. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. And you're doing it to my musician singer's mind. You said over there, and my mind went over there.
Come on, George, waiting for a pun. It's been a few hours.
All right. Well, you want me to punch you? Oh, okay.
Mike, is that what you like about it? That it can work between two phones.
Yeah, I like it to do two phones. I like to be able. I'm sending pictures. You could do. I noticed I think you can send locations.
Yeah, see,
See,
so
man? Okay.
yeah, so Mike, so when you get
Obviously,
your
you use a lot more than the rest of us.
Mike, when you get your MacBook and your iPad, you'll be set.
Okay. Here we go. Here we go.
You'll be able to use your. You'll be able to be on your MacBook and get a text message, and you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you'll be good to go.
Now, Will,
what's up?
Since you now, so I get a MacBook Air.
Yeah.
I record a 4K video on my iPhone. When I get home, that'll be on my MacBook Air already. I don't have to do anything.
It'll sync to your computer. Yeah.
All by itself.
Yeah. When you open up your photos or whatever on on your computer, your pictures will be there.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure.
And your videos.
Okay, cool. Yeah, from the videos that I've watched, now I have a 1 terabyte desktop that I use. Well, when I do a 4K video, it takes me sometimes an hour and a half to render the thing. Well, I gather the MacBook Air, the 2015, will go a lot quicker than that. So that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I just know everything syncs over good. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I've watched a lot of videos. So.
It'll sync over and all that. That's what I like about it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'd rather be in sync than in toilet. That's true.
I'm looking at Munchie's deal on that iPad, the same thing All Too Tech was saying. What's the good reason to buy it? I'm like,
I can't come up with a good
$329. $329 isn't bad, but I'll be looking at how 6 is. He'll be watching y'all on the iPad, and then it's for $329. I might get it. For the latest model, I don't care if it don't.
But is there a good reason other than watching video? I mean,
no, I mean it's kind of the convenience because let's say you're like if I was watching y'all. Instead of watching y'all on my phone can be charged and I can just use the iPad. You know what I mean? When I'm around the house instead of always having the phone.
Oh yeah.
Because you can still get you can get your phone calls. You can get your phone calls on it, your text messages, so I might get it for $329. That's $100 off.
Make it complete. Get the pen. Get the Apple Pen.
There you go.
There we go. Come on, man.
I can get the Apple Pencil. I'll be done.
It'll be ready.
That's right. It's not an Apple Pen. It's a pen.
Yeah, you're gonna get it all juiced up now.
Mike, that's the only tablet worth buying.
I told you before. I agree with you on that one wholeheartedly. I will admit that no other. Yep.
I'm showing my age. Back in my day, juiced up meant something totally different.
and then Mike, they're gonna when they come with the update, and the iPad, you can do the 2 apps at the same time. I might get it. From Amazon. Try it.
Go for it. Come on, you got it.
Yeah, it'll be updated for the next 6 years. So it'll pay for itself.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go.
Sounds to me like by next week's show, Will's going to have that thing in hand. Sounds to me
the Apple Watch is only $229 for it.
That sounds like a pretty good deal.
I know it's killing me. I can't. It's killing me.
Mike, that is a good deal, and Mike, I love my Apple Watch. I love my Apple Watch.
Oh, I know you do.
Come on, Mike, you got to get that one.
I got to be good. I got to be good. I got to be strong.
That's the one.
No. Don't say I got to be. Just say I got to be me. Go buy the watch, man.
I got to be me.
Exactly. I've dragged them down to my level. Now I'm happy.
Mike, that's the one to get for $229. That's a steal
for that price, Mike. Yeah, that is. I will admit there's 2 things going on. I got to see how I do in taxes, and the other thing is I got to say if I want to get it, I have a certain way I want to get a new computer, and I'm not going to say anymore. I have something cooking in my head.
My sick mind is going. My sick musician mind is going crazy. You said taxes, and my mind said, if you're going to play in taxes, you got to have a fiddle in the band. My mind is really working it.
You're real, yeah.
Now, Mike, if you get a MacBook, that'll be pretty good, right? I think you should.
Yeah. Official key. Thank you. I know. Thank you for the good luck. I'll take it.
And for editing, I think a MacBook Air 2014 and forward, Mike, you'd probably be very happy. Is my guess.
George, it'll even unlock with your watch.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Look, Rob Pouncey says, "Wow, musical stream. That's great. That's great."
Okay.
I
Okay.
always will say, George takes the lead.
Now go with me, guys. Sing a song, sing out loud, sing out strong. And you two say la 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 la.
Hold on, let me see how many.
I can be really sick when I want to be.
Let me see how many people left just now.
Hey, I used to get paid for this. I got paid for this for years.
Oh man.
Trying to say, I thought that was.
Don't you think that's a good note to end the show on?
The password one. I didn't even read that one. The Google.
Wait. What kind of note? A note G or a note E? Okay.
Oh, okay.
George, what is that one about?
Obviously, with a name George and no G. Obviously, it says my stream after all.
Okay. All right. So, Will, what you talk about there, bud?
George had an article in there about the passwords. I didn't read it. What was that one about?
Google Chrome can now tell you if your password has been hacked. So if you use the Google Chrome password checkup plugin, as soon as you log into Google Chrome, it'll tell you if somebody has hacked your password, because it'll check against like 400 million places that they've saved that have been hacked. How they know, I don't know. And they still can't look at your data at Google. So sounds pretty good. So that's the password checkup plugin for Chrome. You want to put that in? Sounds like a good plugin to use.
Oh, plugin. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm done with what I've got.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done too. I mean, there's the inbox feature is going.
Keith is asking, is the plugin safe? And as from the article, if you look at the article on BGR about the password checkup Chrome plugin, it sounds like it's pretty safe to me, and Google can't look at it either, or look at your data to it either. So sounds pretty safe to me. It automatically goes and checks against this one server, and nobody at Google is looking at any of that. They just put in all the new hacks that they know about, and it goes to this server. So it sounds like it's pretty safe to me.
I just put the link in there.
Oh, George, you didn't talk about Google Fiber. Ain't that what you have, George?
About what?
Do you have Google Fiber? Did you see that thing in
I don't have Google Fiber. Oh, yeah. No, I don't have Google Fiber. No. Here
what do you got? What
EPB.
is it?
Google Fiber and Chattanooga's, which is EPBFI, are usually the two fastest in the world.
Okay, but Google Fiber is going away. They're actually
or something.
Oh, I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, Louisville. Is it Louisville? Will
something happened where they had to keep digging it up or something? I didn't even.
Well, what
do you mean digging it up?
No, what the problem was they didn't dig the trenches deep enough. And then they were having erosion problems, or like where they cut into the asphalt of a road, and all of a sudden they would have these whole
they cut
it washed away, and then they kept on making repair after repair after repair.
Wouldn't that just be in Louisville and not all of it everywhere?
No, just Louisville. Yes,
just Louisville.
Okay,
just Louisville. But it's just. It's sad for something that's really great. I'm jealous. I wish I had Google Fiber here. I would be, as much as I like the Verizon here, I would be on that in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah,
but
that's why everybody here, as soon as they could get on EPBFI, left Comcast, because this is like 100 times faster.
George, let me ask you guys, what's your guys' main email? What do you use? Just Gmail only?
No, I used my EPB one and Gmail, and they're linked together. So you send the one that goes to both.
Oh, is that what the other email address is?
Yes.
And that's your fiber. Is that what that is? Right?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And then, okay, so you have them linked that way. I was wondering what was that all about. Okay.
Yeah. I'm here to confuse you, Mike.
No, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job.
This is what I do to you younger people. There's not much fun when you're old, but doing something to anybody younger is a fun thing to do.
Now, yeah, there that one article about let's see, I just had it here a second ago. Darn it. About
Inbox.
The Inbox, yeah. I was going to say I like Inbox.
It's over now.
You go for that article then.
Mike, why do you still like it? It's about to close. You might as well give up on
it. My two favorite apps are dying. Okay, I'm very upset. I'm very emotional.
Oh, wait. I think Mike's going to rant. Go ahead, rant, Mike.
No, I'm not going to rant. Just I'm feeling a little emotional. My two favorite apps are going away.
Hangouts.
Yeah, no, Hangouts. Wait a minute. Google Plus.
Yeah, but
Inbox.
Like Hangouts can't be going away because what are you going to use to stream? It can't be going away. They have to be replacing it right away.
That is typical Google. Typical Google. It's going to be a mystery. It's going to be a mystery.
Part of it's going away. Part of it's not going away. The part that we use to stream here, as far as Adam guess, he think that'll be fine.
They're going to say they're going to release it in the wintertime, like they did with Aloe, and it'll come out like in December.
Let's hope not.
That's what Google does.
Let's not have another Aloe, okay?
No, please.
That's how Google does it.
Yeah.
Now you know Will is back. He's bashing Google, okay?
Even though he's got 500 Google homes all over the place.
That's right. Exactly. But homie don't play that.
That's my alarm clock tonight.
All right, are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
All right, folks. Hey, we've sang to you. We've given you bad puns. We've done everything we know to entertain you. Okay.
Woo. Man, I'm tired, man. I'm ready.
I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I think we did have some fascinating stories tonight. We're so glad that Will came in, even though he missed the first hour. It's always better with Will.
I watched it, but I wasn't in, but I was watching.
Exactly. He was typing away, though, folks. So, Will, you say your first good night.
Well, see everybody next week. I think, Mike, you have it next week?
Yeah, Mike will have it next week.
Okay, it's my turn. Let's do it.
Feeling better.
Yeah, it's you. All right, Mike, you go.
I'm Mike Dixon of Simply Device. Eventually, I'm going to get back to making videos. Listen, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Every Friday, I post my ugly mugshot for a Friday face.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. And maybe I might not have a beard next week. I don't know what. Maybe I have more beard. I don't know. We'll find out next week. Come back next week, and we'll talk more about tech.
And of course, I'm Mobile Geezer, and maybe by some miracle someday we'll post another video. I'll have a heart attack, but it could happen.
Hey, wait a minute. He's going to get the iPad. All right, I think he needs to do a video on that.
I agree 100%.
I need him to do a video. Yep.
So you can find me on Facebook. I still hang on Google Plus, Twitter, and Instagram, and my website is mobilegeezer.wordpress.com. I usually do a new article about once a week. Tomorrow, I will be writing an article about the FBI sting last year in CES against Huawei. So look for that to come out sometime tomorrow. And next week, we will be on Mike's channel, Simply Your Device, Friday Night Tech Talk, 8 p.m. So thanks for stopping by, folks. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good week, everybody.